I'm live. Namaste, everyone. And I wanted to do this brief lesson. I gave it a shout out on my Facebook fan page. So if you're on Facebook and you want to get notified of when these things are happening, you go to Yogi Chris PhD and you click like, and then you get the notifications. So while I wait for a couple of people to join, this is going to be a short class, about 15 or 20 minutes on the psoas and a sun salutation. I get a lot of questions that have to do with the Ashtanga Vinyasa method, and as ancillary, all of the shoot-offs from Ashtanga Vinyasa and Power Yoga and lots of different lineages from different people. And this has to do with jump forward, jump back, and how to transition from down dog to up dog, and all of these other features of the sun salutation that are really key and integral to help you develop a system that you can do over and over, that's very good for you, so it's not going to develop like negative patterns, but it allows you to kind of step back and observe yourself. It's like a meditation in motion, a lot of people call it. Now, we're about to do a sun salutation, and it's not dawn, it's not morning. So that's the traditional orthodox, kind of the right-hand path method. At any time, you can do a sun salutation. You can even orient your mat so it kind of points towards the sun, or just acknowledge in your mind. Now, but why would you even want to do that? I mean, we're not like sun worshippers. First of all, it's really good to acknowledge the lineage or history from what you're doing, where it came from. And the origin of yoga practitioners were people who worship nature. And this is where you get like the elements of alchemy and Ayurveda, and most cultures, at some point, you go back far enough, they were honoring and worshiping nature. So it does bring a sort of deep-rooted power to it to tap into what have all of your ancestors, even mental ancestors. You might not be Indian, I'm not Indian, but we're tapping into the lineage of knowledge that came from our yoga ancestors. So there's that. Also, the sun, it's undeniable. I mean, it's the most powerful source for our planet, for our lives, and it's a reference for stability in our life. It's clear. It's very, very clear to you, to me. Everyone knows that the mind is fluctuating, that you're not stable throughout your day. You wake up differently than when you go to bed, and so on. And so the sun is a reference for what it is to be stable, what it is to know that things are also transient, because, as they say, the sun will always rise another day. So we're saluting that aspect of us, that masculine Shiva consciousness of just straight Om stability. Now, so what we're going to do with the sun salutation is I'm going to help you find the psoas. This is an isolated muscle activation, similar to what's coming out in 4 weeks is the heart seal. The heart seal is a conglomerate of isolated muscle activations for the shoulder girdle. And it's very healing, feels very good, and it's really strengthening for things like sun salutation. But what we're going to do now is not part of the heart seal, it's the psoas. It's an isolation of psoas, which will bring your awareness to your core so that movement while breathing, floating, for example, like we'll do in the sun salutation, becomes easier, and then we'll release it. So go ahead and lay supine, that is lay on your back, with your legs outstretched and uncrossed. Take a few deep breaths. And really wiggle your legs in and out so that everything around the hip complex can relax. Now, you're going to have to be able to press your fingertips down your abdomen. You have this center muscle in the abdomen called the rectus abdominis. It's the six-pack muscle. Imagine right on the side of that, like literally the side of the rectus, halfway between the pelvis and the ribs. And then gently push in. You have organs, so be gentle. But on whatever side you're on, I'm on my left side, so I'll take my left leg and I'll turn the kneecap in, and then lift the leg to the sky, and then release it to the ground and drop the leg to the side. Now I'm looking for a rope, a feeling of a rope getting tight. It's a vertical rope up to my sternum and down to my pelvis, right under my fingers. So I push down from the side of my six-pack muscle in the soft part of my belly, turn that leg in, and then lift it up. And feel how it pushes, or pulls rather, my back off the mat. So as I lift the leg up, it pulls my lower back off the ground, and then when I lower the leg, my lower back releases. So I want to do several reps of this. And make sure you go in the order. So it's internally rotate, lift, lower, and then drop the leg to the side. 4 steps. If you're more familiar with the psoas, you want to try and feel the attachments all the way from the lesser trochanter, which is the upper inner thigh bone, all the way up to the solar plexus, which is, you know, somewhere around the upper lumbar spine. Good, let's switch sides. So relax the leg you were engaging. Come to the other side of your rectus abdominis. Push the fingers gently in towards the spine. Now on that side, take the leg, internally rotate, and then lift the leg. Feel for that rope underneath your fingertips, and then lower the leg and drop the leg to the side. And then repeat all 4 steps. Turn in, lift, lower, turn out. Or rather, relax. You want to fully relax the psoas in between each engagement. And every time you lift the leg, let it lift your lower back. You can go as slow or as fast as you'd like. Slower sometimes is easier in the beginning. If I lift really slow and feel how it pulls my lower back off the ground, and then lower and drop the lower back. If you're more advanced, you can play with really pulling it as high towards the body as you can, using only the psoas. And then relax. Now, similar to how we would do in like handstand training, is I want to try and arch my lower back off the ground by lifting the legs, almost as if I was lifting with both psoas. A lot of times we resist that in our training, and that's fine, we're going to do that. But right now I want you to feel the lift. I want you to feel how you can arch the lower back by pulling the legs up. You don't even have to lift the legs, but if you'd like to try and lift the legs to do that, that's cool. And then, but also let the back lower down every time after you soften. So it's a lifting and a lowering, a lifting and a lowering. You can take the legs internally rotated if you'd like. That engages other muscles. Technically the psoas is an external rotator, but we did funny things with it just a moment ago to isolate it. So each time I lift the legs against gravity, it arches my lower back, and then I let go and I release. So now we want to find the opposite of that. We want to hollow. So I tuck the tailbone. Sometimes this can be easier if you just bend the knees. And then I want to tuck the tailbone and press my lower back into the ground without lifting the butt. Don't press the feet into the ground. Maybe gently press the toe tips into the ground, but not the feet. And press the lower back into the ground and pull the tailbone towards the back of the knees. And then return to your arch, which is lift the legs against gravity and pull the lower back off the ground. And then hollow, tuck the tailbone towards the knees, press the lower back into the ground. Now do a few more repetitions of arching and hollowing, and let your breath follow your intuition, how it should be moving. Good. Roll over to your side and come up to tabletop. You need to warm up the wrists just a little bit for Sun Salute. We're not going to do a lot of Sun Salutations. Turn the fingers back and just stretch the wrists a little bit. It's good to engage the top of the forearm here to help the bottom of the forearm release. We might actually only do 1 or 2 Sun Salutations, but we're going to greatly amplify how you go about it and what are you thinking about, what is the level of mastery or the level of body awareness you're taking into each and every moment of your Sun Salutation. Turn the wrists over so you're on the back. We'll just do these 2 stretches. I like to make my forearm bones parallel here. If I turn the elbow crease forward, that crosses the forearm bones, and that's uncomfortable for me. So I turn the elbow creases back and in so my forearm bones are parallel. And I engage the bottoms of the forearms so the tops of the forearms can release. Good. One more thing that we need to accomplish before we really get into the Sun Salute is vinyasa. The combining of our breath with the movement. Tabletop, cat-cows. Hey, that's super cool. It just picks up right where I left off. Yeah, my phone died. My apologies for that. We're just going to pick it up right where we left off because my psoas is nice and warm. So, and I just noticed I'm probably like yelling into the camera as I'm really close. And then when I get far, maybe you can't hear me. So I'll talk softer as I'm closer and louder as I'm nearer. Awesome. So where were we? Oh, cat-cows. Okay, so we really want palm intelligence with the Sun Salutation. Our foundation for a Sun Salutation, especially through the vinyasa, is our hand. It's very much like a handstand, which isn't a whole lot of space. It's only the length from the heel of our hand to the tip of our fingers, and then the width of our mat, or whatever your arm width is. So we really want to embrace the full foundation of what we got going on here, which is the full length of each finger pressing into the mat, and then all four corners of the palm. And there's a little bit of a suction feeling in the center of the palm, but feel the back and the front of the fingers engage. Take the knees under the hips, and then find your breath with movement. You drop the belly deeply. It's an arch, so you find your psoas here. The arching, inhale, and the hollowing, tailbone towards the back of the knees, exhale. Inhale, arch, and drop the spine between the shoulders. Exhale, raise the spine, and tuck the tailbone to the back of the knees. Inhale and exhale. Do a few more on your own. And have a smooth transition, inhale to exhale. If you find that there's holding at any point in the movement, just push the breath harder. Literally, just push more air and break through that tension band. Come back to neutral. So we need to find a good down dog for the Sun Salutation. And this is a really brief lesson, so I mean we could go 2 hours into the Sun Salutation and still have more. So just take the knees a little bit more back, tuck the toes under the heels. Now down dog, if you know that's not in your practice, you can just push back. Otherwise, you'll contract the quadriceps to lift the knees and go as straight with the legs as comfortable. If there's tension in the lower back when you do straight legs, then bend the knees slightly. You want the heels of your feet just gently kissing the mat, and remember your hand intelligence. So play with the full foundation of the bottom of your palms and push out tremendously. Now here, this is the key. This is the whole point of the lesson. You want to find the psoas. You want to pull the knees towards the chest while you push the hands away from the shoulders. Deep breaths. And now another key for the Sun Salutation. As you exhale, you point the feet and bend the knees. Inhale, straighten and put the heels down. And as you exhale, point the feet tremendously and crouch the thighs towards the chest. And then inhale, straighten. Last one, exhale, points the feet, bend the knees, and look between the hands. As you inhale, tippy-toe your feet to between your hands and look forward, feet flat. And then exhale here, bend the knees, drop the chest onto the thighs, drop the head, and hang. You can take any hand position to relax. Gently pull the bottom corner of the shoulder blades towards the hips. Drop your tongue, soften the forehead. Bring your awareness to the top of your forehead and pull it in towards your throat. Now, one last key before the Sun Salutation. We want to have a really strong extension through the spine when we do half forward fold. So from here, Bring the I like the fingertips. Bring the fingertips on the ground and inhale, pull the chest forward. You can keep the knees bent, or if you're open enough, maybe straighten the legs. You want to have most of your weight on the balls of your feet and pull. You want to have the sensation of like a pull-up, like you're pulling the whole chest forward, elongate from the top of the forehead to the tailbone. And then on an exhale, bend the elbows and fold forward. Inhale, round the spine, tuck the tailbone, slowly come up to standing. Good, so take kneeling, and because I don't have a camera person to move the camera up, I'll explain this part kneeling, and then we'll do 1 or 2 sun salutations. Okay, there needs to be a lot of arm intelligence as you move the arms up and down as we're about to do. We're not going to cover the upward facing dog today because of time limitations, and you either know how to do it or someone hasn't shown you, and maybe you are, maybe you aren't ready for it. So I want to give more preparations for the up dog. Maybe the next video I'll do an up dog. Also, if you have questions or comments, feel free to type them and I'll check them out when I'm done here. Okay, so for raising the arms and lowering the arms in the sun salutation, have a full expression of the hands and the arms. That doesn't mean tension or like trembling or too much effort like that, but an aliveness. So many people, their wrists are limp. They think they're doing something dancer-like, and save that for dance class. When be graceful, have flair when you're doing your dance. I don't even know how to do it, but this is yoga. We want awareness, and if we're ignoring parts of our body for the sake of something else, I got to be careful about what I'm saying, because there are times to ignore, or let's say limp, or kind of, let's say, shade out parts of our being for the purpose of focusing on other parts of our being. Now that's an intermediate practice. That's not the conclusion. That's just a means to develop awareness of a certain thing by devoting all of our concentration there. Right now, our full concentration is devoted to the body, the hatha yoga, the physical movement and the pushing and pulling. So there's no part of our body that we should not be aware of, from the breath, the bones, all the way to the skin. So the fingertips, palms, hands, arms, everything. Now it's very useful to externally rotate, that is elbow creases out. That helps engage serratus, and it creates space in the shoulder girdle so the arms can come up without hitting certain bones of the scapula, without crunching. Now, if you need the arms to go slightly in front, that's okay. Otherwise, ideally straight out to the side, because of the geometry of the body. It has an interesting effect on the mind when you move the body in a very precise geometry. The mind is not oblivious to three-dimensional space, and if you can move the body precisely on a plane, that does something for the mind that we won't get into now. But on Mondays I do recorded lectures for a paid online program that I teach called the Silent Flute. You can go to ninthlimb.com and I'll cover those aspects tonight. It's 6 p.m. California time. Otherwise, just think about moving on that plane. As you inhale, the arms come up, really, really extend. Now, you can look up or keep the neck neutral. If the neck is neutral, glide the head back. The hands can come together. It does an interesting thing to feel pec major. There's 2 parts to pec major, and the upper part, the clavicular head, pulls the upper arm bone towards the clavicle, the collarbone. So when the hands are up here, you can engage on both sides that clavicular head, and that does really cool things to open the shoulder girdle. That's the inhale. On the exhale, the same aliveness all the way into the forward fold, and then we continue from there. So, check the time. Okay, this will be the last thing. We'll do 1 sun salutation, then I'll do, we'll do 2 sun salutations. I'll guide you through this one, then we'll do 1 together, and then I'll answer questions. So stand either feet hip width or somewhere closer together. You want your kneecaps facing forward. Again, there's so much that could be said on all of these features, but we want a little flow here. Take a deep inhale, hands to the side. Already have your posture, everything extending alive from the toes to the fingers, to the tongue, to the mind. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone towards the back of the knees. Inhale, enliven the arms all the way out and up. Exhale, fold at the hips. Maybe you bend the knees, bring most of the weight into the balls of the feet, and reach the arms to the ground. Drop the head. Look towards the navel. Inhale, reach the chest forward. Pull with the fingertips. Maybe the knees are bent. Lengthen from the top of the forehead to the tailbone. Exhale, palms flat, and step backwards to downward facing dog or puppy dog if you're on the knees. 5 deep breaths here. And remember to pull the feet towards the head. That's the psoas. Pull the upper inner thighs towards the navel. That's the psoas. Push out through the hands. Spread the palms wide. Lift the top of the fingers. Press the bottom of the fingers into the ground. Pull the chin towards the throat and glide the head backwards. Now, as you complete your exhale, point your feet, bend the knees, look between the hands. Now, you either walk, or if you'd like to hop, keep the thighs pressing into the torso as you inhale to hop. And then continue the inhale to reach the chest forward, pull the armpits down. Exhale, fold, drop the head, gaze towards your navel, maybe the knees are bent. Inhale, enliven the arms as you stand, come to your first position, and then exhale, Samastiti. So go ahead and do one on your own, and my hope is that for those that are watching this video later, that you'll be able to hear my breath as I move through it. It's very important to complete the breath in the pose that you're in, and then initiate as you change or transition to the next pose. So finish the breath in the pose that you're in. Come to Samastitihi. This is starting position. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Follow all the techniques I've already covered, or others if they're good for you and you know them. Inhale, reach the chest forward. Exhale, palms flat, downward dog. 5 breaths. Inner thighs move backwards. Tailbone to the sky. Lower belly in. Flatten the thumbs on the ground. As you exhale, point your feet, bend your knees, look between the hands. Inhale, walk step or float your feet forward, reach the chest forward, look forward. Exhale, fold. Maybe you bend the knees. Inhale, stand with enlivened arms, reach up. Exhale, hands to the sides. Good, and relax. Take kneeling. And I'll do one nerve tensioning with you. That's really, really good. Obviously, this was a very brief lesson. Hold on. Yeah. This is a very brief lesson, so there's probably not a whole lot of soreness that you'll get from this, unless you've never done this or if you're sore from something else. However, when you do sun salutations, it's important to do many repetitions. This builds the heat. It's a metaphor for the sun. You're building, and it's not just building like sweat, it's building an aliveness in your full nervous system. You're preparing for yoga asana, which is you manipulate a lot of the nerves of your system, and this is to wake it up. The sun, it's like an alarm clock. Okay, but the sun salutation does bring a lot of tension sometimes onto the forearm. So we'll do one brachial plexus tensioning, contract Ramaica fist, bring the thumb tips to the second knuckle of the first finger, flex the wrists down, straight arms to the side, bring the arms slightly down, spread the shoulders wide, keep everything I've said, especially the wrists flexed, and then internally rotate. Then pull the bottom angle of the shoulder blades down to the hips while you internally rotate. You should feel a nerve sensation down the thumb side of the forearm. Try to bring that all the way up into the base of the neck. That might mean that you need to lessen it somewhere so that it can wake up elsewhere. Drop the tongue, deep breaths. Ribs in, shoulders down, elbows straight. And release. It's really important now to take some time to observe how you're feeling, and this can be a meditation in itself. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type. Otherwise, I'll take the next 2 minutes to sit and observe my breath. Now how I do this is, as I inhale, I bring my awareness down to my navel, and as I exhale, I bring my awareness to the tip of my nose, and I follow this pattern with my mind. Inhale, awareness to just below my navel. As I exhale, all the way to my nose tip. Keep a soft tongue, and for the next 2 minutes we'll do this before I say namaste, and maybe answer a question if you have any. You want to trace the center line from the tip of your nose down to below your navel, all the way up the spine, behind the heart, the throat, the sinus cavity, to the tip of the nose at the very bottom of the exhale. Keep doing this. Any hand position will do. I have Hakini Mudra with all 5 fingertips touching. Let the belly be soft and the jaw hangs loose while you focus on this breathing. See if you can remove any sound to the breath while maintaining your focus. Good. Now, if at any time when you're doing something like this, you feel a deep breath kind of come on from nowhere. This happens a lot in Shavasana, the final resting pose, which I'll recommend for everybody. I won't guide you through it, but I'll lay down and the live stream. That's usually when I end my Shavasana, is when that deep breath comes on. It's like all of a sudden I was breathing really shallow, and then there's this like deep breath, and it's like, whoa, that's the next, I just leveled down. I just took it down a notch in my nervous system, and that's great. This is now become aware. What is this reference of what a calm system is? So let me see if there's any comments. I don't think there are. Oh, there is. Buddy, you've gone offline. Yeah, sorry. I messaged him. Hopefully he's aware. Let's hope so. I like that complete breath. Yeah, that's a very powerful, and it's the beginning. It's the beginning of a long meditation sequence that we'll cover one day. Okay, so there's no questions. Definitely in 1 month, on October 1st, the Heart Seal comes out. I'm very, very excited. I just started editing today. All the recording is done. So that's going to be an incredible therapeutic product for the shoulders to open the chest. The Heart Seal gets its name from the bandha around the heart chakra. Anahata bandha, the heart bandha, the heart seal. So stay tuned for that, and like the video. Namaste. Cheers. Oh, take Shavasana also if you did this, if you came along with us, or go into your asana practice and then take Shavasana. Namaste.